In a story you'll see first on 5, Hennepin County's top prosecutor is speaking out after becoming a lightning rod of criticism from some victims' families.
It's an embarrassment to the legal system.
That is a member of Stephen Markey's family. He was killed in a carjacking. They recently begged a judge not to accept a plea deal that included probation instead of prison time for a young defendant. It is the latest case in which a judge rejected a plea deal over concerns it didn't go far enough.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty sat down with our Eric Shalou to explain her path forward after those rejected deals.
Have you been surprised at how it's gone and some of the critics that have come out along the way?
In talking about changes to a system that's functioned the same way for decades, I knew that there was going to be pushback.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty sat down to talk about recent plea deals that focused on rehabilitation versus prison that were rejected by judges for being too lenient.
Were you surprised at the response back from the bench?
It's interesting that there have been some pleas, I think 2 specifically, that were rejected by judges who I think in the past would have accepted those pleas from my predecessor, because some of the things that we are doing are no different than what we've done in the past.
Last November, Moriarty was elected after a campaign that focused on criminal justice reform. It included considering other options at times than just prison.
What I've seen, people get into political offices, elected offices, and then find out doing the actual thing is much harder than talking about doing it, especially when you get pushback.
And is that going to change your focus, this pushback you've gotten as of late?
No. And I think what we're attempting to do, and thank you for talking to me here, is really talking to people about the why. Why are we doing this?
Moriarty says her office currently has 1,000 cases in the system for trial this fall. She understands not everyone is on board with some of the decisions her office has made.
Obviously, we take into consideration what the family wants. We listen. Ultimately, we have to be making decisions that aren't about political expediency.
Explain to folks.
Sure.
How you make that decision, whether you're going to offer in a deal prison time or an alternative.
How do we keep people safe? How do we rehabilitate that person? And so we're trying to do that in every single case. What that means is there are going to be some cases where we see a history of rehabilitation and we can clearly see, we could send this person to prison, which is what would have been done in the past, or we could support this person in their rehabilitation because we have the tools to do that, and that will actually make the public safer.
That's what Moriarty says drives her office's decisions.
We're trying to focus on public safety and really look at what the research tells us and what outcomes tell us. Then it's the right thing to do, and we have to continue to do that.
Moriarty says she doesn't weigh in on every one of the cases that's out for trial, and said she asked a team of prosecutors to look at a variety of areas, including the defendant's age, possible history, trauma, and the crime itself to see what possible sentence to go after and will it make the community safer. Moriarty told me it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Now, after some of these plea deals, not only the victim's family speaking out, a member of Congress, Angie Craig, posting on social media that some of the plea deals provided little or no accountability, but as you heard from her, she says the criminal justice reform is what she campaigned on, and that's what she's doing.
Well,
it's complicated.
It's complicated, but depending on what happens in the future, families are not going to stop speaking out. They have been loud on this issue.
A lot of people watching.
All right.
Eric, thank you.
Eric.